POV, you break into my house at 2 a.m.
Hello, my fellow boomstick enthusiasts. Everyone knows that for home defense, you want to have a good white light setup and something mounted to the gun and something that's quick access. And everyone knows that you want to have a nice bright light, both so that you can see what you need to see, but it also kind of incapacitates people. It's not very fun getting that pointed in your eyes. Well, no one that I've ever seen seems to mention that that works in both directions. If your light is too bright, it's actually painful for you, the user. So obviously adrenaline can be a thing in certain circumstances. However, that brings me to this guy right here on my home defense setup, which as you can see is quite bright. And a couple weeks ago, we had some shenanigans in our house. False alarm, no big deal. No one needed to get shot. However, I was going around with this guy, and every time I'd enter a room and turn the light on, I was blinding myself. It was crazy bright. This thing is either 1,000 or 1,200 lumens, something like that. But either way, outside this thing is plenty bright. Inside of a fairly small room with white paint that reflects a lot of that light back, it was uncomfortable to me. And like I said, typically with adrenaline and stuff like that, it kind of negates a lot of those effects. But in the moment, I thought something was going on, and I was still, every time I turned it on, I was like, oh, that's bright. So anyway, that brings me to my solution today. So, what I want to be able to do with this is to artificially dim the amount of light that comes out of this. So the first idea I had was to get some tape and partially cover the lens, and that would make it much dimmer inside. And then if I would have to go outside, I could just rip that tape off and have full power brightness. However, tape on and off, you're lucky to get one use out of that really, and that just becomes a pain. And then it's easy to snag, might be hard to get off if you put it on a little too well, whatever. Didn't think that was a great solution. So what I came up with is this guy right here. It's a specific lens cover from Hammy Prince. I've been following him for a long time on Instagram. He makes a ton of really cool stuff. And anyway, I went on his Amazon page and bought this from him here. Also came with a sticker that tickles my tism, a starburst, that is a nice touch. And I can't tell if this is a rubber band or if it's a shrink wrap. But anyway, that's for cable management, which I'm probably not going to use. But anyway, I can use that to cover up this. But obviously, that completely covers my lens. What do I do with that? How does that make sense? Well, that is where this guy comes in. I'm going to drill holes through here until I get the amount of light passage that I want for inside. And then obviously, when I would go outside, all I have to do is just flip this out of the way and I have full power brightness. So let's give it a shot. Okay, so the first problem that I'm running into with this is you can see that it's not sitting quite how it should. It's wanting to pop off one way or another. So as you can see, this is the WL25 model, and this is just some cheap Chinese Feiachi whatever, but when I look up my order, this is named a WL25. So if this is the WL25, I don't know, but anyway, to the best of my knowledge, I did order the correct one. He does have like dozens of different models, or at least dozens of different flashlights listed to order your size from. Anyway, so I think what I'm gonna have to do here, start off with, is shaving this down a little bit, try and get some material out of here to make it sit nice and flush on the light. Took a little bit of elbow grease. This is all the material that I removed, but sits good now. So, and then I put that little rubber band thing. Like I said, I don't know what it is, but I'm using it as a rubber band basically. Got it here to hold my these bungee cords so that pop it out of the way when I go outside, but this doesn't just fall off. It's held by that rubber band, and then pop it right back on. So anyway, got that. Now we just got to get our holes drilled. Not sure what the correct number is here, so we are just going to start with 5. All right, first up we have 5 holes in the lens cap. And as per usual, I'm using my phone to record this, and phones tend to make it look much more light than it actually is. So anyway, it'll probably be darker for me, but let's see how it goes. Got an interesting pattern there. Okay. Interesting. Well, weird pattern or not, I think we need some more light. Okay, I went up to 7 holes, or added 7 holes, that is. Going up to 12 now. Let's see how this looks. Hello, cats. Yeah, I think that is significantly better, actually. Obviously, it's giving kind of a weird atom-looking pattern, but it doesn't hurt my eyes at all. It's completely pitch black in here until I turn that on, and it's not painful at all. Here we go without. Yeah, that's like turning the lights on. To that. Much, much better. And that is what the cap looks like with all the holes drilled in it. And yes, don't worry, I'm aware that there's almost nothing hanging up here, and there's a bunch there. I'll even those out later, don't worry. So, was this the best solution that I could come up with? Probably not. There's probably something on the market, I would guess. I'm sure I'm not the first person to have this problem. But that said, from my 20-minute Amazon search, I didn't see anything else. I did try looking for some lenses that I'd be able to flop on and off, basically act as sunglasses for it. Didn't see anything, at least not that I thought would fit. So this was the next best thing I could come up with. So anyway, it was pretty easy to do. They cost 13 bucks, and Sean Hammy on Instagram, a little bit of love. He's got a lot of cool stuff, so check him out. Anyway, if you think it's goofy, be sure to let me know in the comments. I'll see you guys in the next one.